Good morning, everybody. It is 11:01, and we are so excited to have all of you joining us today for our North Central Washington College and Career Expo and Conference. I am joined this morning by Holly Frick, Global Content Director for software company ClickFunnels out of Boise, Ohio, Boise, Boise, Idaho, currently living and working in Cashmere, Washington. Thank you so much for joining us, Holly.
Hey, everybody. I'm super glad to see you guys here. It's so fun. We've got people from all over. I'm happy to see you guys already interacting in the discussion area. Feel free to bank up any questions that you guys have over there, and I'll be looking over there while we go. But I'll make sure to leave a little bit of time at the end to answer some of your questions if you guys have any. But bank them up over there because we won't have a ton of time to bring your questions in at the end. So I'm really excited. I'm going to share my screen here and we'll see, Christy, if we can't make this work. Bear with us. There's some tech stuff we have to work out here. Let me see if I can move it over. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Can you see my presentation? Christy, are we good?
You are good, and I can also monitor a little bit of the chat as well if that
Okay.
helps.
Okay, I think that would be great. I'm going to try to see it. Okay, I don't know that I can see the chat while I'm presenting. Let me try to move it over just a little bit here and then we'll okay, I'll try to keep an eye on it here, but we'll get started. The topic of my talk with you guys today is how to promote yourself. And this is going to be a little bit of an unorthodox view of how to promote yourself, given what I've learned about the new media world that we live in. And new media, for those of you that aren't as familiar with that terminology, is the digital world that we're now finding ourselves in the last 15 years. Versus where it used to be with traditional media, walking in, getting a job by putting on a tie, looking nice, and walking a paper CV or paper resume into the employers that you wanted to work for, and only having the option of working for the people in your geographic area. Things have changed massively in the last 20 years. And I'm just going to show you one way to promote yourself in this new media era. And how I've done it. And again, I don't know all the things, but I'll share with you my experience and the hope that I have for you guys to learn kind of the new skills that we need in order to get really cool job opportunities at any age in any location. So that's kind of the purpose that we're talking about. So how to promote yourself, landing the job you want without wearing a tie, moving to a big city, or being a spammy weirdo, because nobody likes being a spammy weirdo. So I'm Holly Flick. I live right here in Cashmere, Washington. I know a lot of you guys. Why don't you guys? I know some of you guys are from Soap Lake. If the rest of you guys, just let me know where you guys are from over in the chat. It's always fun to kind of see that. Um, I'm from Denver originally. Went to school in Montana and have moved around a little bit in the country, but have been here for 14 years. So most of my story that I'm going to share with you is from living right here in Cashmere, Washington. So how it's going right now, in October 2021, I'm the public relations and content director for a global SaaS company. SaaS is a software as a service company out of Boise, Idaho. I work right here in Cashmere, Washington, but I am the marketing firm that I work for manages 10 different brands. Here's a few of the brands that we manage. And just one of these brands alone manages the platform of 4 YouTube channels, 4 podcasts, 3 blogs, and 20 plus social media accounts with a reach of it's at least 3 million, if not 5 million at this point. I couldn't get the number from our audience director, but from right here in Cashmere, Washington, I'll show you all of this from right here. This is a messy view of my office. I didn't clean it up before I took a picture, just to show you the reality of what you can do, that you can do this. And this is, again, one of 10 brands that I manage content for from right here in my home office. I just say that to encourage you. You can do a lot without having to go anywhere and be anything different. I'm going to show you how I did that. So this is me. This is where I am right now. And I'm going to share a little bit with you about how it all started. So the timeline for me, I grew up in Denver, Colorado. I graduated high school there, and then I went to school in Bozeman, Montana, and I got a philosophy degree, which lent itself to pretty much nothing on the outset of college. I really enjoyed what I studied, but didn't want to go on and get a higher degree in philosophy. Um, and then I moved to Portland, Oregon, and I got a job as a corporate tech sales and marketing account representative. It was really just kind of what was available to help me feed myself and my family at the time. Um, but I had no idea what I was doing. I learned skills there that helped me moving forward, but it wasn't like the folks who go get a degree in marketing. So the things that I learned there were more relationship than they were technical skills in what I'm using or what I'm doing right now, and that'll come into play in a little bit. So then we moved up here to Cashmere, Washington, about 15 years ago, and I we started a family, and my idea of what I was going to do was to have kiddos and stay home for a little bit and then move forward and continue on with my career. But something else happened instead, and we had our little Annabelle, our second kiddo, was born with some pretty major challenges. She has a seizure disorder that took up a lot of our attention, and it required me to stay home and to visit hospitals and to actually homeschool her for a time. And while we had our other three kids, um, this was 100% what I did with my time and my energy. And as that progressed, I was further and further away from the career that I had started before I had kids. At one point, I began a Facebook page for my daughter, and really it was the beginning of Facebook, which is a long time ago, where people just needed to know what was going on at the hospital. And I just didn't have the ability to keep everybody updated. So I just started this Facebook page. I didn't know what it was. And I said, you know what, if you want to know what's going on, go over to my Facebook page, check that out. And I'll just put updates there instead of texting everybody at that time. We had flip phones, y'all. It was a thing to keep people updated. So by the time we left the hospital a week later, there were 300 people, 400 people that I didn't know watching our story on Facebook. And this page ended up becoming an epilepsy education and encouragement platform that I was able to communicate with all these other parents and caregivers. And it started to show me that this era of new media and propagating and sending out messages, brand messages, um, and calls to action is what they call it in marketing, when you are asking people to do things. But it showed me the power of new media, of social media, and digital platforms to bring people together and tie businesses to their audiences. So in this, this is kind of where everything changed for me and showed me that I could do some things from home and I can reach people right where I was at home. And so I started in this. This was kind of my new opportunity. I started learning, and that's right here, the social media marketing. I started learning online about this thing that I just learned was possible. This new opportunity for me. It's like, man, people are putting these messages over on social media. So I started consuming as much information as I could, reading blogs, taking digital courses. Um, some of these are free. There's a lot more now in the last 15 years than there was when I started. These digital courses that are online, they're everywhere now. But taking digital courses and educating myself and learning the skills. And then the next thing I did was my daughter was, I don't know, some of you guys that are in the Wenatchee Valley would know a little bit about Alethea Writing Center. It's a therapeutic horse riding center here in the Wenatchee Valley. And I started volunteering with them, and I started using those skills that I was learning in these digital marketing courses in my bedroom at night and in the morning and in the middle of the day taking these courses. I started using that for free over at Alethea Writing Center and teaching digital courses at the same time to other people as they were wanting to learn, the other volunteers over there. And that led into the opportunity that people would come to me and say, hey, I see that you're doing this. Can I pay you to do this for my business? And so I started Swirl Social, which is a digital marketing agency that started right here in the Wenatchee Valley. And it was people coming to me again, seeing that I was doing something, seeing that I had a skill set that I was honing, that I was working towards. becoming a master in. And they said, "Can we pay you for that?" And I was like, "Man, I don't even know how to start a business." And I learned all about starting a business and taxes and all that, bringing in money and like, how do you do that? And then, time management around like, I have 4 kids and how do I do this from home? Um, and everything started to kind of snowball where it just moved faster and faster. And but I was still, I'm working in at that point I'm in Dryden, Washington, just out in the middle of what I would say out in the middle of nowhere, right? And I have these clients coming to me from local businesses, um, and you guys, I was working here like this. I bought this trailer and I put this trailer out in our driveway, and you can see on the left there, that's a picture of my office from like where I was sitting in my trailer. And I called it Hollywood. My trailer was Hollywood. And there's a box light. You can see my box light still right here. So everybody can see my face real well in my little office. And I worked there, you guys. I worked there at 4:30 in the morning. I would get up and I'd go out to this trailer, and because I had my kids and I still wanted things to stay the same where I was working at home and being able to be with my kids. I worked it from 4:30 to 6:30 in the mornings, and I brought in clients. At that point, people were reaching out from all over the world to work with me. And so I was working with clients mostly in the UK, so over in England, because they were 8 hours ahead. And so when I got up at 4:30, they were up, and we had meetings at 4:30 in the morning out in this trailer. And it's, again, you guys, you can't see like the mess in the rest of my office because all you can see is right here. So people didn't know that I'm working in this trailer. Um, and so I'm working with folks in the UK. I have a team in South Africa and in Malaysia because they're all on that time frame and they can support those clients in those time zones while I'm here. And then at 6:30, I would go back, 7 o'clock, go back inside and take care of the kids, send them off to school. I'd work a little bit more in the trailer during the day, and then the kids would come home. We do the bedtime stuff, and then I go back out to the trailer for a little bit in the evening time. And you guys, I made my first $100,000 working in that trailer right there. So it's possible. It's possible to be scrappy and to make something from nothing, without having to go to college. If that's not something that you feel called to, but going to college and then pursuing the what you want to do in the time that you have with the resources that you have. And new media allows for that now, right? Especially with COVID now, and everybody's so used to being on screen like this and working with each other and collaborating. I work with people all over the world all day long now, and at night even, on my phone. And new media has just opened up so many opportunities for us, right? So at the end of this time period, I got a call from one of my clients a couple years ago, and they said, "Hey, um, we need an internal content director. We need you to come in." And content director for a $200 million software company is a pretty big deal. And it's usually, in the past, that would have been something that you have to be physically at their location. You need to be able to be there all the time and interacting with your teams. A director level position like that in a corporation is traditionally something that you have to be on site for. But now with new media and the way that everything is, I don't have to be anywhere. And so they came to me and said, "Hey, we're happy for you to stay right where you are. You can come visit down in Boise once a month, once a quarter, even every 3 months. But we want you to be here with us." And so I was able to take this role, which has expanded now quite a bit. And now I oversee 10 different companies that we run content for, but all of that from right here in Cashmere. So I want to show you guys my framework real quick here. And I'm just going to go through these slides and I'll tell you when to screenshot. And you can screenshot any of these as you go along, but I'm going to show you just the framework of how I got just essentially what I just told you, but the steps that I would have you guys take as you go along. So again, right now I am, after the trailer moment, I am the owner of a content agency, and I work with corporate executives to build their content platforms. And then I work for as the content director for these other 10 companies. So, okay, here are the steps. Number one, know yourself. This is so important, you guys. This quote is good. If you know your opponent, but not yourself, you'll lose 100% of the time, you guys. It's so important for you, to know how you work, who you are, what you like, what you don't like before you even start. Again, you guys going into college, take this seriously. And I'm going to show you this right here. And this is something you guys can screenshot. These are personal and professional assessments that I give my teams that work for me before I hire them. But everyone, even at the director level and the C suite, so my corporate executives that I work with, we take these tests to learn more about ourselves. You can actually take a picture if you take a screenshot of this, and then you can look at, scan these QR codes to take these tests. I highly recommend that. That's number one, is knowing yourself. Number two is learn a valuable skill. Right? What do you have to trade? Understanding value exchange. Oh, wait, this is repetitive. Understanding the value exchange is really important, right? That all economy, all we're doing with making money is just, I have something that you think is more valuable than what you have. Let's trade, right? Chickens for goats. Like, I have a chicken, you want the chicken, you have goats, and we're going to trade that. Except in this, I have skills in digital marketing, and I trade those for a corporation that has money because they value what I have more than they value the dollar in their pocket, and we trade like that. So understanding that once you have a valuable skill, and by valuable I mean something that the marketplace wants, um, and again, you can go to college for some of that. You can go to a trade school. You can learn online like I did. Um, and that's the next step. That's a pretty big deal. Let's see here. Okay, next one is practice your skill. So how many times have you done this? So do this as many times as you can. You guys, once you have a skill and you start practicing, seek and create opportunities to practice. And by that, I mean, go out and find people that you can do this for free. Don't freak out about making the money at first. Go out and just do it as many times as you can. Fail, practice on yourself. I used myself quite a bit, and practice on your friends and your family, and go to a business and say, hey, can I do this for you for free? I'm learning this. Acting as if you are already a business or you already have a job without actually having it is super important. And then identify, who do you want to serve? What types of people do you want to serve? What types of businesses do you want to practice this skill with? Is it Adobe? Is it Nike? Is it a small business down the street? Is it a certain type of person? Research and create a list of 20 potential customers, clients, and employers. Dream 100 is actually if you go Google Dream 100, the idea is creating a list of 100 people or 100 businesses you want to work for, and then studying them so you know them. Like, knowing your who you want to serve is just as important as knowing what you want to do for them. So that's super important as well. Givers gain, you guys. This is my biggest point. Um, those people who learn this do really well. The more you can give, the more you get back. So go give of your time and energy for free as much as you can, and you'll get more back than you can believe. Build authentic relationships with people. How will you show up? Build habits around relationship. Focused attention is currency. And by this, I mean giving yourself and your attention to somebody, full attention to somebody, is a gift. And when you do that, people naturally reciprocate with wanting to do more business with you or hire you. Have a solid platform. And this is where we just talk about what everybody else talks about. Make sure that you have a solid online presence, right? It's your digital storefront. People come to you. Once you've done all these other steps, people start coming to you and saying, hey, can I work with you? That's how I've gotten all my opportunities. So make sure that your LinkedIn looks good and your Facebook looks good, and take off all the content for your best friends and that sort of thing, and make sure that what people find when they look for you after they've learned about you is solid. So this is some of my stuff that I have, LinkedIn and Facebook. These are some examples of some things that I know really successful people have built as well. So, all right, you guys, that's it. I know we only have a minute for questions, and I don't see any in the chat at this point. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm Hello Holly Flick on all platforms, and I'd be happy to answer questions, to give this presentation to you guys, whatever would be most helpful. But that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for your time, and attention is so important, and where you spend it is a big deal. So the fact that you'd be here with me is a blessing. Thanks, everybody.
Holly, thank you so very much for sharing such an inspirational story and for really spending this time with us today. We appreciate this so very much. And again, that was Holly Frick with the global content director for ClickFunnels out of Boise, Ohio. Idaho. I cannot say that correctly today. And joining us out of Cashmere, Washington. Thank you again, Holly. That was tremendous.
Thank